right, everyone. Hello. Welcome. Can you hear me okay? I think so. Welcome to the UNCTAD YSI Summer School. I'm so excited to welcome you. My name is Heske van Doornen. I am part of the management team at the Young Scholars Initiative, which is part of the Institute for New Economic Thinking, or INET, as some of you may know us. And I'm so happy you all are here. You can put your camera on. I see many of you already did so. Do keep yourself on mute because there's many of you here, but it's great to have all the faces because you can think of this as, I guess, a little bit the cocktail hour before the conference starts, right? If we were to be in person, we would probably have a drink in our hands and we would be trickling into a big space together. So it's really nice to be able to see who all is in the room. And we have about 30 minutes together. So there are a few things I want to give you. Yeah, definitely put in the chat also where you're calling from. I see people saying greetings from Indonesia, Nigeria, Bangladesh, South Africa. So that's great. Keep that going. But yeah, there are a few things we want to give you in these 30 minutes. First is just a few tips and ideas on how to get the most out of the summer school this week. Second is an opportunity to meet each other, to get to know each other a little bit, you know, as best as Zoom allows. And the third is a small little surprise that I'll tell you at the end, so don't leave early. So just to get started, a little bit about how to get the most out of this week, right? Because you all obviously have busy schedules. The school has a lot to offer, and we want to make sure that you really enjoy it to the fullest. So there's just a few things I want to remind you of. The first one is maybe obvious, but at the same time, with technology, you can easily forget. But it's that you're really not doing this alone, right? You all are part of a huge international cohort now. You are the 5th cohort of this summer school. This is the 5th year that we're doing it. And we have hundreds of people registered for the school this year. So, you know, there's about 130 of you here, but there's more people that you will see and meet and that you can chat with throughout the week as the days go on. And I just encourage you to keep that in mind because it's very easy to kind of forget and just listen to the speaker and let go of the fact that there's many others here, but it really adds a lot if you can keep that in mind and kind of picture that everybody else is absorbing the ideas and the content as you are every day, you know, from different time zones and different weather conditions and different couches and desks everywhere. It's just, it really helps to get the full experience. And point number 2 is related. It's just that we really want to encourage you to share your thoughts and reflections throughout the week. Because, of course, you know, the themes that we're going to discuss are really large, they're really tricky, they're really challenging, there's so much to them, so many angles, so much you could read, you could spend a lifetime and still not quite know what to say about them. And honestly, the organizers of the program have struggled to figure out how do we best approach them, right? Because we're really in a time in the world where the issues are becoming more and more complicated, but that should not prevent you from voicing your own thoughts, you know, however spontaneous or fresh or imperfect they may be. We really encourage you to give your perspective in the follow-up discussions and share your thoughts on the Slack channel. So just a little bit about those two. The follow-up discussions happen every day after the panels, right? So the panels are when the senior speakers talk, and that's a little bit less interactive. You won't be able to get on camera and talk yourself. But the follow-up discussions do allow you to do that. So that's really where you can bring your own comments and thoughts and questions into the group. We really encourage you to do that. We have a great group of young scholars who have prepared to moderate those discussions for you. So I'm very grateful to them for that. Many of them are on the call right now. So that's one thing. The other thing is a Slack channel. So if you're not familiar with Slack, it's a little bit like WhatsApp. It's basically for chat messaging. And we have set up a Slack account, a Slack group, specifically for the UNCTAD Summer School. So if you're not already on there, I highly recommend that you do get on there. And all you need to do is click a link. And then I think you need to, enter your email address and such. But I'm going to put the link in the chat just in case you haven't joined us there yet. Because it's really helpful. You'll be able to just reflect during the panels. You'll be able to reflect after the discussions, because the discussions, obviously, they're only 45 minutes. You can never get everything out. So definitely use the Slack in between sessions, during sessions. You can also use it if you have technical issues or other questions for us as the organizing team. There's a specific box where you can reach us for those things. So if you have trouble with that, if you can't get in, you can email us. I'll put the email address in the chat as well, but that's really, that's if the other one doesn't work, because we are only 3 people organizing the school, and on email you might, take a little longer to get a reply. So that's 2 things. The third thing is, so sorry, I have somebody who might need to mute themselves. Mute. Okay, moving on. So remember, you're not alone. Share your thoughts and reflections. Third one is think long term, because the school is a week long, but you're going to get a lot of ideas and a lot of things bubbling up. From what I've seen in previous years, people kind of walk away inspired with some new concepts to work with. And if you want, the school doesn't need to end after the week is over. If you want, you can continue to build on those ideas and to further explore these concepts and the work that you encounter. And I just want you to be aware that there is, a community in the Young Scholars Initiative that can really help you do that. So if you're not familiar with the Young Scholars Initiative, you can basically think about it as a big global network of young scholars, also practitioners, policymakers, researchers, students, and we are all over the place. And really what we do is we support each other in doing the research and the work and the thinking that is closest to our hearts. Sometimes that's the work that our own institution or our master's program or advisor, they don't maybe encourage us as much, they don't really understand it as well. So we come together in the Young Scholars Initiative to support each other to push that forward. And there are a lot of resources in there that you can use, both to develop that work online and to sometimes get together in person. So if that sounds interesting, if you see yourself during the week coming up with ideas that you want to take further, remember that the Young Scholars Initiative is basically, our purpose is to help you do that. So if you're not yet a member, you can become a member, and then you can leverage those resources. I'll put the website in the chat as well. So for that, to kind of illustrate a little bit what it means to, I guess, like leverage those resources and to make use of the Young Scholars Initiative that way, I'm also really glad that we have on the call somebody who can kind of embody that for you, because Satwik De Biswas, who's on the Zoom here with us, he is a member of the Young Scholars Initiative, and he has really, really taken this to the fullest. I met him a while ago, and since then he's just organized project after project in the community, and he's really come to sort of be an example for how to make the most of YSI. So I'm very excited to introduce him to you all. Researcher from India, Satwik, would you like to say hello?
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Heske. Thank you very much for this. To introduce myself in a very short lines, it will be, I'm a not a typically trained economist. So I have social policy, social work background as a graduate student. And whenever I try to deal with any problem, I thought, aha, economic ideas are dominating there. So, for example, one of the things that will be discussed in this summer school is about care work. And we are talking in this age how to compensate women for their work at home, raising children, and et cetera, caring elderly. So these kind of questions always can inspire us. In my case, what happened? Um, because I have this non-typical economics background, I wanted to know how other economics are dealing with typical economic problem with a unorthodox way of looking at it. So the first webinar that I tried to organize, how I did it, right? So I went to YSI website. I saw 21 working group there. So I searched it and found which working group is most suitable for my topic. And then wrote an email to the coordinator saying, hey, I have this idea in my mind. Would you like to help me organize something? So I started with a webinar with young scholars who are between PhD and just above PhD, and how they are employing different disciplinary techniques into economic thinking. And that's how I started. And then I moved on to organize a webinar series for a very senior scholars like Daniel Bromley, Jayati Ghosh, Prabhat Patnaik, Elizabeth Anderson, you name it. So the idea is not about the webinar all the time. So in one of the webinars organized by other working group, I presented one of my working paper, and I received very good feedback. And the working paper is now a peer-reviewed published paper. So in that way, I also benefited. And it's not all virtual. I'm also organizing an in-person workshop in coming months in India. So in all these ways, we can get benefited. And of course, what during PhD or post-PhD life that we all struggle is to sharing our anxiety, sometimes sadness even when doing doctoral studies, long hours without a pat on the back. And so in these cases, we have always the opportunity to say things that we cannot tell to our supervisors or colleagues working in the office. So in that way, please consider YSI. We have thousands of people, 18,000 or so members already, if I'm not wrong.
Oh yeah.
So, so you will find one or two soulmates for sure. So in short, this is how you can proceed. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Cedric, for illustrating a little bit. So you all already heard, there's webinars, which is a format that we use a lot because it's the most simple, straightforward, and very effective way to start. And that can mean involving a senior speaker to come and give a talk, or it can mean getting a bunch of juniors together to share work, maybe work that isn't ready for publication yet, but that you would love to get feedback on. Sorry, I have another mute request here. Whoops, then I was on mute myself. So yeah, you get the gist of it, I think, which is that YSI is a space where you can kind of pursue the curiosities that you have in various ways, and we're more than happy to onboard you to the details throughout the week after the school whenever you are curious to learn more. So don't hesitate to ask about that as well. Now, so I told you, remember, you're not doing this alone. Share your reflections, think long term. But I think I've talked enough for a little while. We are about halfway through our time, and I really want to make sure that you all get a chance to interact a little bit as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to just split up into smaller groups, and I would encourage you to share with whoever you end up in the room with, where you're calling from, maybe where you work, or where you study, or what you're up to these days, what brought you to the school, and what your interests are, just so that you can get to know a few of the people that are going to be going through this with you for the week. So we're going to go ahead and do that for about 10 minutes. And after that, do come back here, and I'll share the little baby surprise that I still have. So let's see. I haven't looked at the chat in a moment, so just making sure you all are okay. Looks like you all are okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and start the breakout rooms. So let's see. We're gonna do. We'll do around 8 people per room or 7 people per room. So you don't have to do anything. You're gonna end up there on your own, and then I will bring you back here when we're done, okay? See you in a moment. Okay, so now what did I promise you? Tiny little surprise. What I was thinking is that if this had been an in-person event, right, an in-person conference, usually what that would involve is we would get the week started, maybe we'd have the first day of programming, and then at the end we'd all be excited and happy, and we would probably have some kind of dinner or some sort of social activity, and that's pretty hard to do on Zoom, so I can't really offer you that, but I thought, you know, let's do something. So as an option, I figured what I'm gonna do tomorrow at 5:30 in the afternoon European time, so 5:30 p.m. CEST or 17:30 CEST. I'm gonna cook a meal in my kitchen on Zoom, and I figured, what should I cook? Maybe I will cook a Swiss cheese fondue, because UNCTAD, you know, the buildings behind me in the background are in Geneva. That would have been the location had this been in person. So let's make a Swiss cheese fondue. I've never made that before. I have no idea what's gonna happen. My kitchen is very small, so this is not in the program, and it's just for fun. I invite you to maybe cook something too. Maybe you want to be in your own kitchen, cooking breakfast or lunch or dinner or a midnight snack. I don't, depends what time zone you're in. But it could just be fun to hang out. You can also just bring a cup of tea or open a beer or have a glass of water, and let's see if we can hang out. So it's a bit of an experiment, but why not, right? So I'm gonna put the Zoom link for that in the chat as well, and I'll put it in the Slack. But like I said, I'm not gonna put it in the program because it's a little bit more casual. So here's the Zoom. Michael asks, am I gonna send everybody some fondue? Yeah, I think it ships really well. You know, you just gotta seal it up with some bubble wrap. It's gonna be great. I mean, let me maybe I can share with you the recipe that I'm gonna make in case you want to make the same fondue. It has it wasn't that many ingredients. Fondue, Swiss cheese. I think it was from a website called food.com or something. I can't find it now. I'm gonna put it on the Slack. I'm gonna put it on Slack. So that's another reason why you guys should join us on Slack. Yeah, let's have fun. So thank you all so much for coming for this little meet and greet. I think we are now officially ready to start tomorrow, and we're super happy to have you. Enjoy the school. Let us know if there's anything we can do to make it better, and have a great rest of your Sunday. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Nice
you. Bye.
Sunday. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone.
Tomorrow.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye bye, Hen, and bye bye, Satyigda.
Bye,
See you tomorrow.
everyone.